I've got a little bit of history with sports cars from the South Korean car maker Kia. About 10 years ago now, I actually had the very first Kia Sports Coupe for long-term test when I was working on a car magazine. Now back then, I thought the car looked amazing, but I was pretty critical of the car in terms of its build quality and really its sporting prowess, which was, to be fair, nil. So fast forward about 10 years and today I'm driving the Kia Stinger. And naturally I've got a few apprehensions. On the face of it, it's exactly like that Kia Coupe that I had a few years ago. It looks beautiful, but can a Korean car brand make a proper sporty rear-wheel drive sedan? I mean, we've seen some great stuff coming from the Hyundai stable, which obviously is the parent company of Kia. So yeah, there's some promising possibilities there, but proof is in the pudding. I've brought the Kia out to my neck of the woods, the Infotainment Peninsula, and some beautiful winding roads out here. So if there's any perfect place to put a sports car to the test, or a sports sedan to the test, it's out here. Well, straight out of the gate, I must say I'm pretty impressed. I've taken it for a bit of a blast, and yeah, the sporting prowess is not only there, it's there in spades, to be quite honest. I've recently just driven the German-made ZB Commodore, which I thought was, for a large sedan, really, really good. Well, this is there or thereabouts, as good as that in terms of its driving experience. I think it speaks a lot to how well the South Koreans can gear up and start to produce something at a benchmark level with the rest of the world. And really, they have done a very, very good job with the Stinger. There's a few things that I would change. I personally don't like the 3 air vents, and yeah, they're a little bit flimsy, but overall the buttons and the feel to all the switch gear is really, really fantastic. So let's talk noise. And the Stinger makes, quite a lot of it. It's got a really raughty exhaust that you can hear in the back. Hopefully with the microphone you might be able to hear this. I'm traveling at 75 kilometers an hour. If I shift down to second and punch it up to 100 there, yeah, that's a satisfying sort of roar. You get a little bit of pop and crackle on overrun, nothing too dramatic, but it's satisfying. Of course, the other noise that I am picking up on rougher roads that I've been driving on lately is a little bit of rattling around that sort of heads-up display surround, or possibly the instrument cluster. It's not bad and it's not there all the time, but I am picking it up on the really rough corrugated roads around New Zealand's backcountry. There's a whole lot of different displays you can have in your instrument cluster here. Right now I've got it on the gauges one, and that allows me to view my oil temperature, which, let's be honest, no one really cares about. But more importantly, I can monitor the torque output when I put my foot down, and sort of speaking to the boy racer in me from years gone by, it's got a turbo boost gauge, so I can monitor the boost pressure as I'm accelerating, which is kind of cool as well. If I'm being honest, jumping in and out of a lot of modern cars these days, and with all of the various safety features and lane departures and active cruise controls, it can actually be quite confusing to figure out where all of those controls can be. I jumped in this, and within 5 minutes, using only one hand off the steering wheel, I could go really quickly into all of the necessary menus that I needed to change my adaptive cruise control, the heads-up display, right down to changing the colours of the lettering and the angle of the heads-up display, all from the steering wheel. And I found that menu system really easy to navigate. It's a bit like developing a website. You want the person to be able to find where they're going as quickly as possible, and everything that the Kia's menus sort of do is exactly that. It's one or two clicks away from where you need it to be. Suspension has got a real firmness to it, and when I say firm, I mean you can expect to have some jarring along some of our worst Kiwi roads, but to be honest, that's kind of what you buy into with a car like the Stinger. You don't really buy it to be soft and pillowy, you really want it to sit squat and flat when you go around the corners. And yeah, it does do that exactly the way it's supposed to. It handles flat, there's very little body roll in it at all. There's a couple of quite fast corners, even a little twitch of oversteer there actually. Down mid-corner, punch it, get a very slight twitch in the rear, but it's easily controlled and restrained with the stability control, which is pretty aggressive. You'll either love it or hate it, I guess. I kind of like it. It gives it a lively feel, makes you aware that it is, you know, very much a rear-wheel drive with plenty of power, but at the same time it may not be the most predictable feel. I was quite impressed. The steering has got a really good weight to it. Of course, there's no real feel. You can't exactly get a good sensation of what's happening at the front wheels in front of you, but that's because it's a synthetic, artificial steering system, which is sort of par for the course these days. That said, they've put a bit of weight into there that gives it a nice sort of heft when you're throwing it around, which I really like. Well, I gotta say, I've really enjoyed my time with the Stinger. It's not what I expected at all, and I guess that's a good thing, because it's much better in fact. It looks good, the fit and finish is really good, it's fast, and look, I'm really happy to say it is a driver's car. Makes you wonder what the next 9 years are going to be like for Kia.